images have emerged as there are more calls for compensation for students affected by the coronavirus pandemic. Students at the city's other university, Sheffield Hallam, say they want a reduction in student fees and accommodation costs as most teaching has taken place online all year. But how much does it cost to study at university, and how many young people does it affect? Well, each year over 196,000 students study in Yorkshire. Universities can charge up to £9,250 a year in tuition fees. And on top of that, the average maintenance loan, which goes towards accommodation and living costs, is almost £7,000 a year. Well, the average debt for students leaving university in 2019 was around £40,000. And with rising levels of unemployment, finding a graduate job afterwards is proving increasingly difficult. Mark Ansell has been speaking to some students in Sheffield about their experience.
It's a lonely time at the moment, especially for university students living in lockdown away from home. Harry Smith is in his third year at Sheffield Hallam Uni and is stuck indoors in a tiny room, one of a handful of people in this block of flats. Around 60% of Hallam students are yet to return to Sheffield after Christmas break because of COVID.
I've told my university many times, you should have told us to stay at home and do a virtual degree. It would have saved £5,000 for me on rent. It would have saved coming here, switching jobs, ruining my mental health, that sort of thing. But I think someone needs to step in, the government, the accommodation themselves, or the university, to sort of alleviate these contracts that we're tied up to.
Sheffield Hallam University says it quickly communicated that teaching would be online and has prioritised mental health support.
That lack of community, that sense of belonging that's missing, is impacting heavily on their mental health.
The well-being of students is of biggest concern to the elected student representatives at Hallam Uni. They're asking the university to do more.
Really embedding that well-being, that metaphorical hug that students need right now. Course leaders, lecturers, college leaders just checking in, going, how are you? No, like really, how are you? Just, you can ask the question once, but obviously they don't necessarily always, they're like, oh, I'm fine, and then asking it again.
Do you think students should be given some refund on their tuition fees?
I definitely think that this year is a year that needs to be discounted for students. Students have not received the student experience that they normally do every year. So I think that it's important that the government take that into account and reduce their tuition fees this year.
Face-to-face teaching won't start again for almost all students until at least the 8th of March. Student life is going to take some time to get back to normal. Mark Ansell, BBC Look North, Sheffield.